Going through that. Just wanted to say good morning as we are sitting here at LTV on this beautiful Monday morning, January 13th, year 2025. Here with the Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi. Bob Sullivan is here with us this morning. It's just like an encounter. Wait, yeah, I need to do this. That's much better. So yeah, Bob Sullivan is a friend here to the Hello Show, and also an artist that's involved in exhibiting his work in the group shows that we're just taking one down, and sure enough, we're coming back with another one. But I saw him. I said, "Do you have 20 minutes for us?" So I guess he he does. Good morning, and thank you for
Hey, hi.
participating. You sold a piece.
Yeah, it was a great show. We really had a good show,
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
yeah, that led to a commission as well. The guy saw the work that the person bought from me, and decided to hire me to do a windmill out here. One of
I
the
love that.
yeah, one of the ones the windmill in Bridgehampton. Forget the
People are
name
not
of it.
aware how important it is to for on our behalf to make sales. I mean, we don't sell much really, but just the hard work and the anticipation. And whether you have five kids or whether you sing, it doesn't matter. It's just this edge of, "Oh, I want to do a little bit okay, just so I don't have to face technical issues that will slow me down in the process of painting."
Yeah, it's a little side money, side hustle, but yeah, no one's going to get rich. Uh,
Yeah,
I mean, actually, well, that's the big thing. A couple of artists do get super rich,
yeah,
and everybody thinks like, "Oh, I want to be that." But I think the chances of doing that are similar to winning the lottery. Maybe they're
yeah,
less than winning the lottery, but yeah, to make a not substantial, but a not even comfortable, but uh, to make some money on the side that covers extra stuff is possible. And
yeah.
I'm
But
not.
that's why you want, if you want to increase your chances of prevailing in that sense, not only just
Oh
appreciation and
yeah,
respect.
you got to do it. You got to be
Um,
in
y-
the
um,
show.
yeah, and but you got to venture into the abstract, into the surrealism, into the experimental, into the
I don't know that
modernistic.
you have to.
I think you stand a better chance if you were to, regardless of what your ability is to sketch or to be
Yeah,
realistic,
yeah.
uh, that you're increasing your chances to.
Well, I do.
It's easier to break through.
I think it's possible. I do have friends who are just representational painters, the very, very good landscape painters, and they make a good living with that work. Now, their chances may be less than a guy who's just doing contemporary, abstract, modern, stylistic work. I don't know. I don't know what the statistics are on that, but
Yeah.
don't rule it out. There are a lot
No,
of
no,
guys
no,
that
of
do
course not.
make a really good living actually doing contemporary work. But
I mentioned more like the ability to realize who you are as an artist, or who it is that you want to be. To get to that point is easier, regardless of whether you sell or not. You see, I think that when you're involved in abstract expressionism and the likes of it, um, you just simply, how should I say, um, allowing yourself to get away without being qualified.
oh, you said that. You want to rephrase that? That didn't sound good.
You did?
It didn't sound good.
No,
Without
that
being
that
qualified, man. That's a tough
that
one.
I mean, the goods are there, the experience is there, the goodwill is there, the talent is there,
Yeah.
and more
Well,
of the same.
I made a decision that I wanted to learn uh, that all that stuff. The what you call it, the qualifications. I wanted to learn the qualifications. I had no idea how long it would take me, or how long I was willing to uh, give to the process. But in over time, I realized, that there's no limit to learning the qualifications. You can spend your entire life
Yeah.
trying to figure out how somebody made a beautiful painting the way they made it, and still not have all the technical skills that artist used to make that painting. But
Yeah,
having some of those technical skills allows you to do things in abstract work that you wouldn't have been able to figure out or do at all
and
until you
still
learned
be
the technical
and still
stuff.
be the
Yeah,
painter that you are. If you're
yeah,
conservative and paying attention detail oriented, things of this nature, that's a good thing. That's not going to go away.
right. You've got it. It's yours.
Exactly. But now I think that the real fire, the real blaze, the real the real realistic description on the screen, so to speak, is it, oh, okay. For example, I do think sometimes, why are we shying away from repeating the attempts of the greats as they were trying to break through and supposedly broke through and supposedly receiving from them, while at the same time it wasn't even the first ignition that should have been taking place. That means if they would have had the time and the extra this and that and that, there are many layers that they skipped because knowledge was limited. You know what I mean? Even for those greats. So why can't we? Why can't you be like uh, whatever his name is that was on an 8 foot ladder and painting big blobs of black on a canvas,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and maybe even in a very weird way knew within him that in 30, 40 years it will be $15 million.
yeah.
So why can't we, and why aren't we encouraged to revisit that?
Well, I think
That means it didn't lost its magic just because I'd like to get a go at it. Uh,
absolutely. You can revisit anything that you want, and I think it's the wise man who revisits as much as he can
but you
because
kind of want the approval of society, of your mentor, of your professor. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you want this of your peers. You want that, but on the other hand, uh, it's not what the public necessarily wants. It's like the critics saying, "Oh, it's a very good art, but a very good movie," but nobody goes to the movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You There are people who are capable of just spontaneously coming up with artistic styles and movements that are not inspired by anything that came before them. But I think people who uh, are truly um, knowledgeable about art history in the past and progression and why movements, styles have become successful are better able to move on to the next level.
yeah,
In other words, just spontaneously coming up with an art movement out of the top of your head, I think requires a lot more skill and luck than a person who has studied the progression of stylistic changes over the centuries and been
yeah,
able to say, this is what's coming next and do it correctly. I could be full
yeah.
of
But there's
full of
that.
bullshit there, but
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's the
there's
way it
that.
is.
But there's
Yeah.
also so much else. So much more.
Uh-huh.
But the question is the you yourself in you enough to keep you company and to maybe need more, not need at all. What's out
Inspiration you're
there,
looking for, right?
yeah.
You're talking about?
But the you yourself in you is all the ingredients that are involved in observing your work while you're painting it, before you're painting it, after it's done. That kind of. But we need obviously to remain that, but still be exposed to the mass.
Yeah, and
But keep this attitude. We cannot just like shift, and then all of our philosophy suddenly is looser. You
but yeah,
know,
yeah,
rather than being more firm.
it takes courage, right? Doesn't it? I mean, like to well, for example, you and I just started this black and white project,
Yeah.
and for me, I've been doing representational work and very comfortable at looking at the product and saying, is this what I want it to look like, and knowing right away this is or it isn't. But when I jump into the black and white world of non-representational stuff, uh, I'm I'm a little, I wake up a little like, whoa, what am I doing? What
Yeah.
I spent the whole last 2 weeks working on this project. Am I out of my mind? Or, where is the reinforcement, the support, the community of other artists who are doing the same things? And that can be, a little terrifying we're stepping out into an unknown area.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're, if, well, representational art makes it easy because you got nature to go by. In abstract work, you're trying to get away
Yeah,
from anything that anybody's ever seen before.
but you allow your signature to in your style. For example, I see a lot of excitement that can take place, almost like bordering the abstract, bordering the experimental, that you can add a spark, or like suddenly the reality of a brushstroke comes to life. You
I,
know what I mean? It
I
is
know what you're
important.
talking about. I'm
Also
wondering
the
if you're
also
going to
the
like what I've done recently,
yeah,
though.
and but
Yeah,
if you have a 5 or 6 year old or young children, and then you you can afford to approach your 5 year old, 6 year old, and talk to him or her about their brush stroke. So that
sure.
means with my 6 year old, when he was like 3 or 4, he was just like a phenomenon. Like and I would approach him and say, "How do you know about brush strokes?" And he said, "What do you mean, Papa?" And I said, "This thing that you did is called a brush stroke, and it happens to be a good one."
Yeah.
And he keeps on repeating it and doing it more and more and more. It wasn't like accidental or isolated attempt.
Uh-huh.
So, but now try and maintain it through young adulthood
Uh-huh.
and adulthood and maturity.
Yeah. Yeah. The spontaneity goes away.
It's a surety over the impossibility.
Yeah. If you've
Like,
done it 100 times, you get a little bored of doing the same
yeah,
thing
but
over and
suddenly
over.
there's a reintroduction to those those sensations that you had with your kids. And you can easily take it to that. So you're realizing that wow, I never really got to think about what the nature of his brushstroke is, and why it's important, and what is it to begin with that makes it important, and so much more. So it's a nice feeling to realize that you can borrow something from the past and use it solely and almost wholly in an experimental modernistic fashion.
I hear you. I know what you're
That's
saying.
a
Yeah.
just imagine we adapt that.
Well, look at Franz Klein, the guy you're talking about on the ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, what he
and
did,
Motherwell.
yeah, same. Similar,
Yeah,
similar. But
yeah,
Franz Klein, what I'm talking about, he did a small brush stroke, like no bigger than the palm of your hand, and then he photographed it and blew the photograph up so that now the ratio is like 100 to 1,
yeah, yeah,
and he painted that on a piece of canvas the size of the wall here. So his his uh, his appreciation of the brushstroke became something monumental. It became idealized. It became grandiose. It became larger than life, literally, and
yeah,
important. And it became his style. But I think that required some courage too. And then I think later on in his career, he changed his style. He didn't always just do the giant brushstrokes. As a matter of fact, I think he only had 10 years. Right? He was only working hard for 10 years on that. And then I think he died at a young age. I think that's
yeah,
actually what happened to him.
yeah.
But other people
But even
changed their style.
you, for example, you just described a technique of his and all that. The beauty slash wondering about it all is that I'm sure that he himself he knew that uh, people wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
That means he's not bothering to that extent because he wants to impress anyone. He knows he cannot impress them because it's just his own attempt, and then when he sends it into the open, he he wants to say, um, "I'm not bothered by the potential delays that I will uh, um, confront because of my attitude now." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
and,
in
and
other
then
words, carefree.
in the same
Yeah.
token, um, uh, uh, you want to be loyal to who you genuinely are. Also, that means if we journey from that style to style, we
Yeah.
got to be
Yeah.
super careful to.
It's sort of being true to yourself, being
Yes,
honest with
because you can lose a
yourself.
lot as you travel these short
Yeah,
distances.
you're not sure what you are. You lose. Is this my style? Is that my
Yeah,
style?
yeah,
So let's get down to it right now. I love he was at the top of his
I'm glad
class.
you mentioned him. He's the most at ease that can be for those who express themselves in this style.
Exactly. And he was when he was a kid at the what is it, École de Beaux Arts in Paris. He was the top of his class in drawing. His teacher said he's possibly the best drawer that we have ever had in here. And anybody like me, 10 years ago, before I saw Matisse's drawing, thought that Matisse was like kind of a shitty painter. It was like, what's wrong? I mean, can't he make a person look like a person? Can't he make a
Yeah,
table
yeah,
look
of
like a
course.
table? Can't he make a bed look like a bed?
But now you won't hear anyone asking these questions
Well,
anymore
no,
because
but nobody knew that he was the best drawer at the École de Beaux Arts. You know
yeah.
what I mean? He just, this is what I got, and that took courage. That took the
And even if they
balls
were
to come
to
out and
know about
say,
it, it wouldn't make a difference. That's the point I'm trying to
and
say.
that they no,
The-
but
How many do you know that are really excellent and like a phenomena that there are people out there that we know that can
well,
draw and have their own. The
yeah.
question is what subject matter are they choosing? The
Look
question is
at all your favorites.
can they really create a short theme and just abandon it and but follow it? It's in the background, but it's solid.
Yeah,
Can they do that? That's the thing.
there's so much comes into play in a painting and a picture, composition, right? Like, where's the emphasis in this picture? Is there a focal point? Where's there foreground, background, middle ground? Is there a good color mix? Are the colors working together? Are there? I mean, there's so many technical skills that a painter can learn
Yeah.
and should apply to a painting because they've been proven historically to be successful. If you look at any group of the 20 most popular paintings in the world, you'll find commonalities among them all that the human brain just is triggered by. The size of the one element compared to the other, the position on the canvas of one element versus the other, the blending of the paint, the compatibility. There's the grid. If you overlay a grid and doing a composition, you'll find repetitive um, placement in every two-dimensional
Yeah, and
piece of
that's
work.
great because what you portrayed, this is the way I see things. So I take what you just portrayed, and that will be just like exactly what it is and exactly where it is, and it's good that it's there. But at the same time, I'm securing another area, another space where I can
Mm,
really not only shift but borrow from one to another, but make it in a less of a cliche way
but
to
keep the
adapt
balance.
to adapt cross implementation. That's the thing.
And I think people are repelled by
You
certain
stand to
paintings.
lose a lot from little crappy things that happen in these short journeys. Some journeys you can do without or shorten it. It's a
Okay,
good thing. It's
yeah,
viable.
but
This,
you have to know that. You have
when
to.
I supposedly was introduced to the art scene here in East Hampton, you don't know how many fears and doubts and difficulties, real or unreal, were circling my immediate being becoming an artist was
Yeah,
awful
yeah. Well,
just as much as it was great. But then I immediately needed to invent my capability to give answers to it quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to quit. I
okay,
can only
but
take it that
you
much.
obviously did. You
And then,
came up with the answers.
but my decision was really so technical. It's saying if I need to bring my strength that I'm aware of and know about to the forefront right now to help me.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and then that will dictate to me how I proceed and how I proceed well. So I found myself being able to overwhelm people with my results
yeah,
and to make them feel that they don't have enough room to have an opinion. Therefore, they will relate
accept your
more to
opinion. You'll
the
take your
project itself. Like, what's going
yeah,
on here?
the physicality of the actual piece,
Yeah,
as
or
opposed to
the
your
menu of it,
backstory. Because you're not going to be there every time anybody looks at your painting to give them the backstory.
correct,
They're got to look at what face value
correct.
is there, and
uh,
you can't bullshit your way through everybody who ever
you
sees your
want
painting.
the
And
critic,
I'm not saying in a negative way, but you
you,
know what I'm saying.
you want to send the critic ahead of time without him knowing that you're actually sending him or feeling that, but
the
you gotta have him there
info, the 411
because
on the thing. Yeah.
because he will be able to experience it in a much better way because there won't be anyone observing his excitement.
Yeah.
If indeed there is, or there is amazement,
Yeah.
or he will be himself. So you want to puzzle them with quantity. It was my sub team theme.
Yeah.
It was I need to make them feel like they need to hold their horses and think about what they're just about to say.
Uh-huh.
Because take a look, you might be making a fool of yourself. These kind of things they will hear if I was to give them so much of it
The
at once.
background. Okay.
Not always, but
Yeah.
the timing. And
I
then
think
they
that's common in art. I think it's usually the gallery owner that's doing it, not necessarily the artist. The gallery owner kind of gets in cahoots with the painter, and they go, "All right, we're going to sell this," and then the poor guy with $1 million comes in the door, and they start hitting him with all the background that you're talking about, and before you know it, he goes, "Okay, okay, I'm done. Here's my money. Give me the painting."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. But it's okay to show yourself or to promote yourself as a powerhouse. Like, listen, I can make things happen. Like you're going to your studio. When you go to your studio, one would assume things
Mhm.
are going to happen, and
Yeah,
things are going to happen fast, and
yeah,
things are going to be looking good. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great place
It's
to be.
well, that's it, and it's recognition, whether it's in financial terms, whether it's in popularity terms, whether it's in your peer group, recognizing you. But success is what keeps you going, right? What drives you onto the next thing. If everything in your life is, dull and boring, and you're not liking your painting, and people are not buying it, and what's to keep you going?
Yeah.
What discipline do you have inside that's going to say, I don't care? And that's almost what Van Gogh did, right? I mean, his whole life, he loved painting. He loved all this stuff about it, but nobody loved his paintings. His brother was barely able to sell any paintings that he made. So, uh, but you need encouragement.
But these are all stories
Is our
that
time?
nowadays are kind of sound lame a little bit, because I'll tell you why. I'm not trying to say that or trying to put anyone down or anything. I'm just more like the real now is so modernistic, so full of opportunities and encouragement, and uh, at the end of the day, it has everything you need, and it doesn't need to prove itself. It's just absolutely unconditionally available. Now, I'm actually wondering and surprised not to see more uh, individuals that will make you really feel outside yourself. You know what I mean? For good reason.
No,
It's still the few, but still, at least reality is informing you that you can do it. You can just do it. And it's really accepting that this kind of easiness and at our disposalness is not a minus, it's a plus. We need to be able to justify taking advantage of it, you know. But
yeah, I
at the
see
end
what
of the
you're
day,
saying.
what is it? You go to your studio, you do your thing in every style or any direction, and you're hoping that next time you will see it, you will be just as happy.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
That's
I was,
feeling of completeness, kind of.
the thing where
Even if it's a semi-completeness,
everybody else thought it was good, but you didn't think it was good. Yeah,
and vice
that's
versa.
the same thing. Or yeah, that's the others. That's the side you don't want. that's the that's the. Isn't this great? No, sir, that's not great. Please get it out of here. Yeah,
A great person once told me in one of my shows, you know, if you make them feel that they cannot do it themselves, you're in good place.
if it's beyond their
Yeah. Well,
capabilities, beyond their conception of
yeah,
their
once they
method.
start talking
Well,
about
actually,
being able to do that, you're in trouble.
that's what when I first went into Laura Grenny's gallery in Sag Harbor, and I saw the work that her artists down there were doing. I was said to myself, I could never do this. I could never create, and it was all representational artwork of landscapes and portraits, figure studies. I was like blown away, but I it became my goal, and I pursued it. I used discipline and I used hard work, and I was able to create realistic paintings, landscapes that I really liked, and that has helped me with every kind of painting I've ever done. Learned about materials, learned about brush strokes, learned about other artists. There's
Yeah.
so many tools in my toolbox now that I can feel comfortable moving into a parallel movement. You got
Yeah.
representational here, paralleled with abstract, paralleled with conceptual, paralleled with minimal,
You know what?
all sorts of stuff.
Someone is trying to reach me here, but
Maybe it's the timer. Oh, it's time to go. Yeah, it's the
no,
time.
yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
go.
You got like, yeah. It's exactly 9:45. Hey, well, I really wanted to thank you. Very nice.
Thank you for asking me to sit in with
I
you
need to
again.
dive right into it and start decipher what we were talking about
Yeah.
for the
Well, I
next
got
half an
pictures.
hour.
I can show you, but they're not finished yet, so I'm not going to show you until they are.
Thank you for showing here with us and being a friend to LTV and especially to the Hello Hello Show. That's Bob Sullivan is
It's a
here with us.
privilege and an honor to be invited.
Thank you. And that's just the beginning. Every time you think we said it all, it's just
Yeah, there's more.
yeah.
Oh, I'm full of it.
You got it, man. So
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon. And let me just put this in on the background. So and let's see, what is it? Conception vessel, Paul Mochan. Let's see. If
Okay, I found this on the web for Concepcion versus Budget.
no, I don't want. Try to put the. Okay. So again, you know what? I think I'm gonna just kind of wrap it as you're here. This is 26 minutes. That's good for us. Bob Sullivan is here with us. We're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this morning, January 13th, Monday morning, 2025, here with the Hello Hello Show. God bless, and we'll see you soon. And Bob Sullivan, we really thank you, and looking forward to this wonderful, new, exciting show to come.